destroyed by these Marines, he should actually turn around and clear this group, because these Marines are just gonna chase them away. Sieging up now, going to be able to clear this up, and now it's Valkyrie's turn to actually get a contain. He is a bit lower on supply, but Ver has a third base already done. Valkyrie is just now producing his third base, and moving forward with some Marines here, not the best choice because they are getting shelled by the tanks. One tank going to start shelling away at this orbital command, but this is just going to take forever to actually destroy. These tanks taking a few hits while they're sieging up, one dying for absolutely no reason, so really Valkyrie could do a better job of leapfrogging, but I guess he just wanted to push his advantage while he had it. Meanwhile, it is now 105 to 100 supply, so fairly even here. Remember, though, Valkyrie does have the tech advantage with those Banshees and that reactor starport. He is free to produce a Viking or Banshees from this starport. Throwing down now engineering bay and an armory. So he is going to be looking to go into the late game against xSixVer. And Ver not having a third base just yet. Valkyrie's third is now done, and once that gold base actually starts mining, he will be in trouble. Throwing down a fourth command center and floating this third one towards his third base, but really Valkyrie is going to be mining from the gold base, and that is just going to be one huge income at that point. Valkyrie should actually take these rocks down. Ver should actually try and take these rocks down because he will eventually need them. He is sieging up while Valkyrie once again is not sieged up, and this is really costing him so much when he's not sieging up when Ver is, and really need to siege those tanks up because they do so much damage, not to mention the splash damage when these Marines are clumped up. And you actually saw how fast that army from Valkyrie actually evaporated there. Now, xSix actually taking a huge supply advantage, 126 to 98. It was 105 to 100 before that before that engagement. So really, not a good trade by Valkyrie. Despite him having the gold base, he will be able to actually claw his way back into this game if he can hold this for long enough. But it's just, Ver does have this third base. He is going to be transferring a lot of SCVs there because he does have 81 harvesters to only 60 of Valkyrie. So these incomes will actually be quite similar once he actually saturates this base. But mules on the gold base are so good. One duel here gonna be forced to die by his partners. And now I actually feel like Ver has a superior army. He is catching up in income. That gold base showing a small difference here. But he could actually push forward because that is not many Marines. That is just so many Marines by Ver at this point that he could try and flank these tanks. And will he actually get caught off guard without sieging? Once again, that could be huge. Valkyrie, you need to siege your tanks, and there they go. They finally siege up. They are going to take a lot of volleys off on these Marines, but these Marines are going to be pushing forward. That is a lot of tanks and a lot of Marines. They will be able to clean this up, and that is going to be huge. Losing every single tank, Valkyrie is not going to be able to actually protect this gold base. It is an orbital command, now a planetary. You rarely see planetaries actually from Terran players in these in TVT matches. Now, a handful of Marines will do a lot of damage at this third base, killing a lot of SCVs. Actually, now just pulling them away. You can see that that was 11 harvesters killed. Now going to force this orbital command to actually lift off. And he's actually trying to repair it with the SCVs. Nice repair. Gonna siege down on the ramp. Gonna try and push forward. These Marines will all die to the siege tanks if he's not careful. He is trying to kill this orbital command, but it was saved. He did lose a lot of harvesters there. Remember, he had about 81 harvesters, I think. Now he's down to 68. So Valkyrie catching up and getting the gold base. Meanwhile, a drop in the main base. So Valkyrie is really everywhere and doing so much damage at this point. Valkyrie, like a boss, playing so well at this point, drops everywhere, harassing the third base, getting his own gold base. It has been up and running for so long. You can see that income tab is favoring him. He is getting weapons level 2 as well as armor level 2 and vehicle weapons level 2, so massive upgrades here. That is Ver, sorry. Ver is getting a level 2 everywhere, and Valkyrie not staying ahead in the upgrades, just now getting level 1 and level armor and weapons level 1 for his Marines. This will do a huge difference in this engagement. Still not the best engagement by Valkyrie. He will lose a lot. He is actually coming back in supply, but this is just not enough to deal with 4 tanks, 2 tanks and a handful of Marines. Meanwhile, the small group of Marines supported by all these medevacs will actually push forward and try and pick off a few harvesters. They are able to actually run up here. These medevacs actually turning back. They should be healing these Marines because they could do a lot of damage. Remember, he does have the upgrade advantage, so that will play a huge role in these games, and this game really has been back and forth everywhere. This drop inside of Ver's main base did not do enough damage. Valkyrie did lose a handful of Marines and a medevac there. Spawning for the third base, Ver knows that there is still no third base. He cannot land this until he actually cleans up the tanks here. One Marine gonna get picked off quite fast here at the third base. Meanwhile, another command center gonna go up for Ver, so he's really expanding everywhere. He has managed to actually keep the supply advantage despite not mining from the gold base. This fourth base is now finished for Valkyrie. It will go down right here. He does spot this Marine, so he will have to pull a few of them back to actually clear this. This small attack force will try and engage these tanks. That's not a good idea, actually. That is just so many tanks at that point. And really just trying to fortify this position. These tanks will try and go on the back here and harass this mineral line. It will get spotted though. Let's see what Ver will do to actually deal with this. Valkyrie is everywhere, but he is very thinly spread out. And this, if he doesn't do enough damage here, this might actually not be worth losing all of these Marines. He should focus down the mules at this point. They are almost dead anyways. Losing and killing a few more harvesters. That is 29 harvesters killed. Ver is still at 71 though, so he's really on top of this macro, still fortifying in the center of the map, and this is going to get cleaned up. So I really don't know if that was worth it. He did even out the harvester count, but losing a lot of his army, and you can't keep throwing away army like that because eventually Ver is not really losing any units when he does this. So eventually he'll just push forward with a lot of army. Supplies are dead even at this point, 149 to 149, but Valkyrie is so thinly spread out, he could actually just sandwich this army at the center and land his gold base. He sees the scan, and Valkyrie knows that something is going to be coming, wisely deciding to actually just pull back. Will he actually move forward once again? This is not a good idea. These tanks are unsieged though by Ver. Only 2 tanks siege. He should really siege these tanks because they will take a lot of damage from the Marines. Meanwhile, a sandwich coming up from Ver, going to be able to clear out these tanks. And really, Valkyrie will be wiped out here again because he is so thinly spread out. This small group of army could actually have helped so much in this engagement, as well as these tanks, but the entire army from Ver was here and was able to actually clear this out. So Ver taking once again the supply advantage, 142 to 122. He really does have these superior engagements. Now this gold base will actually mine out soon enough, and that is when Ver will get a huge advantage. When he's going to mine from this gold base and his opponent will be mined out, he will just boom forward because his opponent will start to get starved at this point, and not too long he will have no more minerals at the gold base, no more minerals at his expansion. He will be only mining from one base. Meanwhile, Ver is still very healthy at this third base. He is completely full at this gold base and has had this planetary up for quite some time. So Ver is looking great in this matchup. Once again, Valkyrie is pushing without sieging his tanks. He should siege right now, and that will be the end of his army. 142 to 120 supply. He just replenished a lot of supply there, but losing his entire army, gonna get a few tanks picked off as well. pushing forward with a small group of Marines, and really these upgrades are doing really a great job for Ver. And these tanks have been sieged there forever. Planetary Fortress actually going up for Ver. I like this choice because Valkyrie hasn't been sieging his tanks at all, so if he doesn't siege his tanks, he won't be able to actually push into this Planetary Fortress. Now I think it will be Ver's turn to actually push up here. That is just so many tanks. A single tank here will get picked off fairly easily, and that is just so many tanks. He could just leapfrog them so easily. And this isn't a Planetary Fortress. He will go for that fourth base, though. He is going to actually just prevent the army from actually going through here and reinforcing this base while the gold base is under siege. And under siege is the right thing to say. That is so many siege tanks. That is 12 siege tanks just taking the position here. Meanwhile, a small group of Marines will start harassing this third base, and what a great game at this point. Ver is just jumping ahead. Valkyrie will have to GG out of here soon enough because Ver has his gold base mining. I mean, Valkyrie is trying to push here, but he is actually going to go for a base race because he knows he can't actually take this down. But little does he know, there is a base here, and he does not know about this. He has not even scouted it yet, so I mean, this is just not going to happen. Ver is going to pull back a few tanks, maybe siege them on the high ground here, or just gonna try and defend his gold base instead, sacking in this expansion because nothing's mining there anyways. This small group of tanks still not sieging the tanks. They could be doing a lot more damage. Now sieging them, and these Marines will just push forward and hug the tanks until they die. And really, there is no coming back from this. Valkyrie 96, Ver at 160 supply. Gonna clean up the entire army of Valkyrie, and still a lot of siege tanks. Gonna deny any kind of mining, and look at that income tab. 100 minerals per minute. That is not enough to support an army. This is gonna be the last push from Valkyrie. He is gonna try and do something, but that is just so many units by Ver. He is going to be able to clean this up quite easily. His vehicles level 3 is almost done, so these tanks will do even more damage. 60 damage right now. That will just keep going up to 65 once that level 3 finishes, and he will be clearing this up, and we're going to go into game 2 right after this. GG from Valkyrie, so tune in for that, guys.